So we're out on the Moustache camp and we're riding for the first time the Enviolo automatic gear change system, meaning the bike changes gear for us, whatever speed we're going. Ben, what do you make of it?
I was never a fan until they explained it to me properly and told me about the way to do it today. And we sell a few to customers and they're like, yeah, I really like it. And I'm like, oh yeah. But I am sold 100%. The automatic is basically good for your bike and good for your body because it's just so clever how they've designed it that it just makes you go faster and have less stress on everything, really.
So we've just speeded up. We're going down a hill, and the gear change has happened for us. We haven't got to do everything. One of the important things with a Bosch motor is there's a sweet spot of how fast you need to pedal to get the most efficiency from the motor.
Like the perfect RPM.
You can keep at that. And one of the things you do in the settings is you tell it what cadence is your pedal speed, your revs per minute. You set what you want to be at, and by factory standard, I think it's 65.
Yeah, but you can do it so easily. You can get the app, and then you can choose like how it starts off, and it's called stop and start. It's just so clever, and honestly, I'm so amazed by how good it is.
So now I've just looked down, we're doing 25 kilometers an hour. Our leg speed is exactly the same. We haven't had to change gear because it's doing it for us. I can hold a camera in one hand. Normally my other hand I'll be changing gear. But this is great. This is really simple.
Good morning and good afternoon. We're here today with Stefan from Enviolo and Steve from Fully Charged New Forest, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Enviolo, why it's so great, why our customers love it, and why we recommend it. The company used to be called Nuvinci.
Yeah, correct. Nuvinci is still inside.
Yeah.
The Nuvinci technology, so our mother company, we are still owned by a company in Texas.
Yeah.
The Nuvinci technology is inside the bicycle hubs, but it's also used for wind turbines and other like lawnmowers and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
But their percentage of the market is very low.
Yeah.
And the Texans have realized at one point that they cannot do the European bicycle market from Texas. And so they founded a new company that's called Enviolo in Amsterdam, really focusing on the bicycle market.
So the interesting thing is with this gear system, it is variable. There's no gear indexing. You have an easy gear and a hard gear and everything in between, without any need to index anything.
So this is one part of the magic that's happening inside the hub. This is one of our planets, one of our spheres, and we have two rings, the input and the output ring, and one of these rings is forced to circle these spheres around or near the equator, so it has to take the long way around, so it has to rev faster, and the other ring will circle the planet near the pole, so the polar circle, and this needs to move slower to make the same revs. And then we are just simply tilting these planet wherever.
So your gears never need tuning, they always work, which is
such a zero maintenance option that should last for up to 60,000
or
kilometers.
Or more. The hub itself doesn't need any maintenance. What needs maintenance is the cables themselves. The hub itself is maintenance free.
The golden question I'd like to ask, and now this is a question that comes up all the time, do you have to actually stop pedaling when you shift on a manual Enviolo?
Not stop pedaling, but you should reduce the force of pedaling a little bit when using the manual system. But with the automatic system, you shouldn't care.
So that's I think what we should focus on today is the automatic system, how good it has got to recently. You can add it onto any smart system Enviolo bike, as long as the frame allows it, which is pretty much every recent Muller and all of the Moustaches that have Enviolo. So why is the automatic so good now?
Because it'll follow you as a rider. So you are setting your cadence set point, you are setting your, we call it traffic light function. So whenever the bike comes to a full stop, then it starts in your estimated gear. Imagine your last commute to work, for example, and just count how many times like a pedestrian walked into your bike, or you had to do a hard brake for a car, and then you are in the wrong gear. And you didn't have the time to shift down, the automatic will always do that.
It's going to be more efficient in terms of its speed and its battery consumption. because also it's allowing to shift under full load.
In general, we are always choosing the optimal gear and without any steps. So there's never that feeling that you have this gap when you change a gear where you have to pedal like a little bit too fast or a little bit too slow. You always have this optimal cadence.
So what have we got here? We've got the different hubs that you can actually have from Enviolo.
And all of these hubs can be retrofitted with automatic. The difference at the moment is what you see here. We have hubs available for through axle frames and for solid axle frames.
So you've got urban, city, trekking, heavy duty, and extreme.
Correct.
So
differences are with torque and total weight. We are starting with a torque of 60, 75, 85, and 100 Newton meters. And then we have the total weight of the whole bike, including rider and basing of 140 kilos, 160, 180, 250, and 300. And the hub that's not displayed, so this gearbox that's not displayed, can go up to 500 kilos.
Really?
Because it's no longer part of the wheel, then it can take up to 500.
We can call out one of our manufacturers here. Urban Arrow, you out there? Yeah, you need to be getting this one. See that? Extreme. That's what we need for you. So what have we got over here?
This is a see-through hub that can display what's actually happening inside the hub. And when I now start pedaling and you start the shifting, you see that the spheres here are moving because we have now painted the equator red, and now we are forcing the output ring around the equator, and now that's moving faster.
And you were saying earlier that this is a very like a synthetic hard oil inside, which basically eliminates wear and tear of the ball bearings. It's a synthetic oil. And it creates like kind of a cushion in between the spheres and the input and output ring that stops it from wearing, and that transfers power, because whenever it's pressurized in that small gap, then it gets hard and does both. It does the traction and it creates a cushion that there's almost no wear. That drag that you have is not it's empty.
That's empty.
Really light. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers, Stefan. Thanks very much.
Thank you.